The Kiritsuke versus the Bunka. If I had to summarize in the briefest way possible the differences between these two styles of knives, it would be that the Bunka is a shorter Kiritsuke. However, we're not going to keep it that simple. In this video, I'm going to dive into the traditional characteristics of a Kiritsuke and a Bunka so that you can decide which you'd like to add to your collection next. And I'm going to show you how some of them perform on the cutting board in different cutting techniques so that you can decide which best matches your preferred cutting technique, whether that be the rock chop or tap and push chopping. Let's get started with the Kiritsuke. The first knife here is the Enso Ginsan. This is the most traditional Kiritsuke that I have in my collection. However, with that being said, it's technically not a traditional Kiritsuke. All of the Kiritsukes and Bunkas that I show you here are double bevel, meaning that they have an even grind on each side of the edge, so it works for anyone regardless of whether you're right or left-handed. However, the original Kiritsuke was a single bevel slicing knife. So one side of the blade was dead straight at the edge, and then the grind was on either the right or the left side. Again, this is a double bevel, but all of the other characteristics of this knife resemble a Kiritsuke. The first thing is that the tip of the blade has a reverse tanto-like tip. So the spine ends and comes on a hard angle downward, where the tip of the blade is on the edge side of the knife. Most Kiritsukes are going to be 8 inches or larger, and they are going to have a relatively straight edge profile in the first half or so of the blade until it starts to ever so slightly curve upwards. Most traditional, the Enso Ginsan. Next up is the Shun dual core. This has the VG10 and VG2 alternating layers of Damascus stainless steel. Very traditional blade, traditional octagonal handle, but this has a bolster, so it's a little bit more modernized than the first one that I showed you. And then the most modern looking would be the Enso HD. Again, the blade shape is very similar. This has a VG10 stainless steel core with Damascus cladding and a sashimi finish, going into a bolster with a triple riveted micarta handle with an end cap. So this one is definitely pulling some influence from German style knives. So there are 3 Kiritsuke blades with basically the same type of blade features with just differences in the handle. So a quick recap on the Kiritsuke. Traditionally single bevel, now most are made with a double bevel. You have a reverse tanto style tip where the tip of the blade meets on the edge side of the knife. Length is going to be 8 or more inches. This is 8.5, 8, and 8. And the blade itself is going to be relatively straight until about the first half of the blade, and then it'll ever so slightly curve up to the tip. Moving on to the Bunka. As you can see, the biggest difference between the Bunka and the Kiritsuke would be the length of the blade. Most Bunkas are going to fall into that 6 to 7 inch mark, but there is a category within the Bunka category called Ko-Bunkas, K-O, which basically means baby Bunka, a small Bunka, and you can get sizes ranging from 5.5, 4.7, and even as small as 3.1 inches. The 3 Bunkas that I have here are very traditional. They just vary in their length and the angle of the tip of the blade. The first 2, the Enso hand-forged and the Yoshikane, have very similar blade shapes. The curvature is relatively straight, moving about 1/3 of the way up the blade until it starts to curve into the tip. However, The Hatsukokoro Kurogane has a bit more of a pronounced curvature to the tip of the blade. So if you were to look at these two compared to the three Kiritsukes, add another inch and a half onto these, and you basically have a Kiritsuke, whereas the Hatsukokoro Kurogane here, the blade shape, if you made this a bit longer, would be significantly more pronounced than the curvature at the tip of the Kiritsukes. Now what I want to do is show you how some of these blades flow on the cutting board so you can determine which type of blade shape, curvature, or length is going to be best for your preferred cutting technique, while also keeping in mind that it's not necessarily just the blade shape and length, it's going to be the type of steel that also falls into consideration when deciding which knife is going to be best for you based off of your preferred cutting technique. First up is the Enso Ginsan Kiritsuke double bevel, coming in at 8.5 inches. But before I get started with this knife, what I want you to understand is that every single one of these blades, even the little 3.1 inch Hatsukokoro Bunka, are going to be phenomenal for tap and push chopping. So tap when you are coming straight up and down into the product, push where you're coming in on about a 45-degree angle into the product like so. They're all perfect for that because of that straighter edge profile, regardless of the curvature at the tip of the blade. Where some of these knives struggle because of the length and shape or the type of steel is with the European style rock chop, which is where the tip of the blade stays on the cutting board and you move in this circular back and forth type of motion. Because of this downward tip, sometimes, depending on the product that you're cutting with that rock chop type of technique, you can find that the tip of the knife will dig into the cutting board. Fortunately, most of the Kiritsukes, actually I would say every single one of these, so that was the Ginsan, this is the Shun, really nice flow. This is the Enso HD. I can feel it catch a little bit the higher up I go. It's just an ever so slight little speed bump that the tip digs into the cutting board, and it's also going to depend on the cutting board that you're using. Any of these on plastic would not perform very well with the rock chop because it's not going to give like wood. So, and you shouldn't be using plastic anyway. Let's be real. Medium to softwood or rubber. Anyway, back to this rock chop. If it's your preferred cutting technique, you will most likely be able to get away with a Kiritsuke. However, I will say that once you get into a steel that is above that 60 to 61 Rockwell hardness, maybe 62 SG2 stainless steel, and that 63, you may be able to get away with it. These knives, they don't like, it's not the back and forth type of motion. It's as you're moving down the product and you're slightly pivoting, you make these little torques to the blade. And because some of these Japanese steels are super fine, that's where you can end up literally chipping or cracking the edge of the blade. And depending on the thinness of the geometry, the tip here, if you dig into your cutting board at a weird angle, you can end up breaking it off. So believe it or not, the harder the steel, the more fragile the blade is going to be to the rock chop, and especially whenever you are mincing and pivoting like that. To be honest with you, I wouldn't do that type of cross mince pivot chop with any of these unless you get a Bunka or a Bunka that would be, I would say at most that 60 to 61 Rockwell. Some of these are falling in that ballpark. Some are a little bit harder. So if you're a fan of the rock chop, you want to go with the longer Kiritsuke. Now, let's say you want a little bit shorter of a blade. like the Bunka or a Kobunka because you want to be able to use it for just everyday prep. Maybe you just want something a little bit shorter. That's it. Well, the Hatsukokoro Kurogane, as you can see, has a significant flare curving up where the blade is almost, gosh, at that point, we're approaching an inch off the cutting board. Now, if you compare that to the Enso hand forged, you can see that the tip of the knife is much, much closer to the cutting board. And even if I were to compare this to the Yoshikane, that is very similar to the Enso. And then I have another Bunka here that has a little bit of a taller heel to it. And you can see that that is a bit further off the cutting board compared to the others. So for a rock chop, this Hatsukokoro Kurogane with the more pronounced curvature at the tip of the blade is going to be much better for the rock chop. You can see I'm pulling my wrist up pretty high. Way too high, to be honest with you. Because if you have something like an onion that's this high off the cutting board, 2 inches or so up, you shouldn't be doing the rock chop. You should be doing a tap or push or a slice or something like that anyway. But if you're mincing up some baby carrots, some celery, a bunch of other things, use your imagination, you can get a really nice flow with this Bunka. Whereas if I were to grab this Enso, it just dug in right there. So if you're doing a small chiffonade or you're mincing up some green onions, yeah, you can see it digging into the board there. It just catches that. Something I will say is if you are looking to expand your knife collection, you should also consider expanding your skill set with knives on the cutting board. If you are primarily doing the European style rock chop, then what I would do is recommend practicing the push chop next. Most Japanese blades are going to have a straighter edge profile, especially in the first half of the blade, and they're more intended for tap, push, and slicing, not rock chop or pivot cross chop mincing. So not only will you develop better knife skills, but you will be able to use more knives as they were designed. Now, as a quick recap, the Kiritsuke, traditionally single bevel. Most of them today are a double bevel. Very straight edge profile, going up all the way into about the tip of the blade where you will get a little bit of a curvature. The biggest thing would be 8+ inches, and you're going to have this hard angle tip with the tip of the blade meeting at the edge side of the blade, not centered or near the spine. The bolster and handle and things like that are going to vary, but what's important is the blade itself. The Bunka looks very similar to the Kiritsuke. It's just a bit shorter. And you can see that these two have pretty different angles at the tip there, but if I bring out the Yoshikane, they are near identical. The Bunka can vary in its heel height, a little bit taller of a heel. You're going to have a little bit more of a pronounced curvature, and the curvature of the blade is going to be, there's going to be a larger variance in the curvature of the tip of a Bunka compared to a Kiritsuke. So as you can see, the Hatsukokoro here has quite a bit more of a curvature compared to the Bunkas, and especially compared to the Kiritsuke. So there you have it, folks. You just learned everything there is to know about the Kiritsuke and the Bunka. From here, in order to decide which knife is best for you, first consider how you prefer to use a knife. If you're a fan of the European style rock chop and you want to be able to cross chop and pivot, then I would recommend a Kiritsuke with a softer steel, or a Bunka that has a more pronounced curvature at the tip of the blade that is also with a softer steel in that 60 to 61 Rockwell or lower. If you are proficient at the tap and push chops and you're looking for a knife that can be used for any type of prep, then to be honest with you, all you have to decide is which length you prefer. Do you want the longer Kiritsuke or the shorter Bunka? Because they can both do the exact same thing when we're talking about tap and push chopping. If you don't ever do the rock chop, then what I would recommend is finding yourself either the Kiritsuke or the Bunka with the straightest edge profile. And the final thing I would like you to consider is how pronounced the tip of the blade is. So if we were to look back at the Enso hand forge, you can see that this Kiritsuke or this Yoshikane Bunka has a bit more of a point to it, which can be fantastic for intricate tip work with a knife. I'm Chef Brandon with Cutlery and More. Thanks so much for tuning in and learning everything there is about Kiritsukes and Bunkas.